Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video and hope you guys are doing well today. Now, I said in my video earlier that I would be commentating and covering this is actually my second Rage Fire Chasm run that I did. This is the one that I was the actual tank. In the first run I was kind of a DPS tank hybrid-y thing. It still worked really well, but this was one that I was actively the tank. And it was great. So this was with Swamp, this is with Pricks, as well as a few other people, and it was a really, really enjoyable run. So just to give a little bit of information before I get into the actual run itself, Shaman in general, thoroughly enjoying it. Season of Discovery in general, thoroughly enjoying it. It's currently 10:30. I've been playing Season of Discovery for about 11 hours at this point. I'm just about to finish off what I'm doing currently, then go and have a couple of hours sleep and get back into it before the queues start on A again tonight. Now, we did this the first run and I was a little worried that actually I was going to get slapped about a little bit, but I've done a little bit of work on what it looks like to try and tank as a Shaman, and honestly, it's so enjoyable. Genuinely, I found the niche, right? I played Ascension with Shaman tanks, and don't get me wrong, Shaman tank is going to have some of the same issues when it comes to just dungeons and raids in general. To give you an example, the Molten Elementals in Ragefire Chasm are immune to Earth damage, which means I can't Lightning Bolt them, I can't Earth Shock them. I just have a very limited way of dealing with for threat of them. Now, the group that we're running, to start off with, we are 4-man with the Rogue just kind of running around and catching up. We're running a Warlock, which was running Chaos Bolt, as well as obviously a couple of other things. I don't really know what. We had a Mage running Living Flame, and he just got Arcane Explosion, and mobs just absolutely melt. And we were running a Priest running Penance, which was kind of his main ability. And then obviously me running Way of Earth. I was running Shield Mastery and... Way of Earth, Shield Mastery and Molten Blast. So, yeah. Initial thoughts, Molten Blast is capped at 4 targets, and I think anything over that, Shaman's really going to struggle to try and keep threat on them. Over a long sustained fight, so like Black Fathom Depths, I think Shaman's going to be a very good add tank, off tank, where it's just great at picking up a good chunk of the mobs and then having another tank that can also help. You can see here, going for a 5 pull, I'm only level 13, I'm not particularly well geared, I've got 1 or 2 greens on, I'm certainly not exceptionally geared, but we go in, big Molten Blast to hit all 4 mobs, and then I hit the further Shaman away that we wanted to pull as well with Flame Shock. So at this point, I've got a good amount of threat. Living Flame comes out from the Mage, and you can see the mobs just absolutely melt during this. And I did have some aggro issues. It was something that but I don't think any tank currently in the game would have been able to keep aggro. I don't think it's necessarily a threat issue with me or with Shaman or just in general. I think with mages being able to pump an entire mana bar of Arcane Explosions and Living Flame into a pack, their damage is just so high that it's almost just non-competitive. But again, going for another 5 pull here, go in, give the Molten Blast again, Fire Nova Tome coming down, which it was more for damage than threat. I don't actually think it even provides threat to me. But again, going to blow it down. We've now you can see the Mage doesn't have Living Flame, or didn't have Living Flame until now, and I'm keeping a lot better threat. You can see I'm literally holding over double his threat on most of the mobs. Some of them are getting a little bit close. But yeah, I mean, overall, I'm not doing bad in terms of threat. Now, I spoke to the healer after this, who said most pulls he's having to put a good chunk of heals into the Shaman, and I think that's going to be a consistent thing. Shaman are really going to want to chain pull later on when they have enough block for it to matter, because you're going to want to keep your Shield Mastery up. Shield Mastery provides you a load of extra armor, which is great. You can go in and get really tanky during the fight, but you're going to start off with a lesser amount of armor, and then first few hits can absolutely chunk you until it stacks up. Sometimes you also just get bad RNG because of the low levels of block chance that we have currently that you just don't block. So yeah, it's not going to be the most consistent tank, and he said that in terms of damage taken, I'm probably not going to be the easiest to heal, but the damage overall, I think I was second. The mage was by far first, and then Crix on the warlock was third. Yeah, I mean, overall it was a good run, and I think it was very, very enjoyable. That's for sure. So my mentality at the moment is try and get as many Molten Blasts off in a run. I'm finding that I'm not getting much opportunity to use Flame Shock, but that may just be an experience thing or a practice thing. I'm finding Molten Blast is coming up quick enough anyway that actually it's just better most of the time to get totems down mid-fight or things like that, and Earth Shock off to taunt a mob back, that sort of thing. Now, I noticed a few times that I was going into a pack and war stomping, and I think it has to be used more as a defensive than how I was using it here in retrospect. Like, so if the mobs aren't hitting me, I can't block, and if I can't block, I'm not getting mana back, I'm not getting that armor stack. So overall, it's just a really bad thing. So I think actually just using it as a, uh-oh, I'm getting low health, let's war stomp, potentially then partnered with Earthbind so they're stunned and slowed and I can move away from them, would be better. But again, the more we play it, the more we'll figure stuff out. So moving up here into this, and you can see, I mean, we are doing kind of 5 mobs at a time in most of these pulls, which is good. I think that's a really, really good pace. And the XP from Ragefire Chasm, by the way, is absolutely insane. Now, one of the skills that I was really, really impressed with in this run was the Homunculus that you can see kind of just below me in this fight right here. They are a priest rune that summons 3 like shadow things. One applies a armor debuff like Sunder to the target, or I mean it is effectively Sunder, a 5-stack Sunder. One applies Demoralizing Shout, which reduces the mob's AP, and the other one reduces the mob's attack speed. Well, as a tank that can't provide any of these buffs, they're really, really nice. And I think it would be quite difficult for me to... I think I would have struggled a lot more without those buffs. Aside from the fact I'm generating more threat because they have less armor, they're doing less damage to me, which means I can stay in the fight longer. I mean, overall, I really, really enjoyed having them. Now, one thing you're going to see a lot during this is me trying to, again, time Fire Novas, as well as sort Stoneskin Totems out. So Stoneskin Totem was something that I found to be... Again, I think it's going to be quite a crucial damage decrease for Shaman tanks, and especially once you get the talent, it's going to be something that you need to drop on most packs. Now, later on, where we could line of sight pull some of the packs, I was pre-dropping Stone Skin so that I could pull it back into a better position. So, things are... Sorry, definitely trying to record this while I've been awake for like 14 hours and I'm very tired, so I apologise. But yeah, I think Stone Skin Totem is going to be one of those things that I can absolutely maximise and improve upon. But it's going to take some time and getting used to. So I'm going to jump down here, go for the 5 pull again. I wanted to pull one with Lightning Bolt just to try and group them all up a little bit better, but stood too close to the edge. But you can see, got a nice little grouping on them. Got 3 of the mobs with Molten Blast, and you can see, because I only hit 3, the 3 that I hit, I didn't have any threat issues, but because I then started having threat issues on the rest of them and was chasing them, wasn't putting threat into the remaining 3, and ended up losing aggro on pretty much all of them, which is a little bit frustrating, but it is what it is. One of the nice things I think about Shaman is we can put out quite a lot of threat. We do burn through our mana very quickly, but we're going to put out quite a lot of threat with those Molten Blasts quite quickly. We can recover a fight, and then we can Earthbind and start kiting away and still be able to use that Molten Blast. So there's definitely some like skills and plays you can do. Overall, I think they're going to be a good place. You can see that I'm not using Lightning Shield very much either. It's because it's just cost so much mana. So at the moment, right, I think it's 15% block chance. I have 5% from talents. I think at this point I was level 14. I have 5% from talents and I have 10% from shield mastery. That's it. So I was noticing that I wasn't keeping shield mastery up all the time, which is quite punishing, really. It really does make, like, you're not getting that mana back. On some of the pulls, like one of the pulls later on in this run, I remember I got hit 3, 4, 5 times back to back to back, and I'd had no issues at all because, well, I mean, I'm getting all of this mana back every time I get hit. I don't have to worry about it. I believe it's also total mana as well, as opposed to, like, base mana. So I'm getting quite a lot of benefit back. But yeah, so going through, on single targets, I was finding that literally just Rockbiter itself was keeping threat. Just literally, I could just auto-attack mobs and I would keep threat on them, which was really nice because it meant on the one mob, I didn't have to pay that much attention. I only really had to focus up when there was multiple mobs. One thing you're going to see a lot, and having a mage in the group, aside from the fact they just do crazy, crazy damage, is just the fact that I'm pretty reliant on the water and sitting down regularly, even if it's just with one tick. I can go into a fight, as long as I can go into a fight with probably 2 Molten Blasts and a Flame Shock, I'm pretty comfortable that I'm going to be able to have a good chance at holding threat. Anything less than that, and I'm in a real bad position. So you find, like, right now, I have 46, 64 mana. I would probably, if the mobs were in front of me right now, be sitting before I pull. I don't actually remember, but I may also still sit anyway. Alright, so one mob, so I'm going to pull it by itself, but you can see the point. Like, I really do. Mana is a massive, massive concern here. So, again, pulling 2 here, they don't do very much damage, and the more I block, hopefully I'll get some mana back, was kind of my hope. You can see I block once, block twice, and I'm already back over 100 mana. So once you do start getting some of that block value, I think Shamans are going to have a ludicrous amount of mana return, and the benefit of that is they do good damage. Like, overall, I was doing second highest damage here, doing about half the DPS of the mage. It's very, very, very strong. If you just gave me infinite mana, being able to regularly drop Fire Nova totems, being able to just use Molten Blast on cooldown, using my totems and moving my totems around, I think there's so much benefit that you could get from all of that extra mana. So, heading upstairs now, and this is probably the scariest part of the dungeon for me, just because, well, the mobs are immune to nature. So, Lightning Shield does nothing, I can't pull them with Lightning Bolt, I can't do very much other than hope that Molten Blast and Flame Shocks are going to be enough to keep aggro. And, I mean, the mage kind of pumps, that's going to be a difficult challenge. I am looking forward to doing things like Wailing Caverns and Dead Mine, Shadowfang Keep, just because I'm interested to see how these other dungeons that don't have the elementals, or certainly elementals that affect myself, are going to react if I don't have any threat issues. You can see here, what this elemental, I just can't pull it back because I have no taunt. And this was an issue that was experienced on Ascension. Ultimately, you could only get so far, and you if you can't taunt the mob, especially on Ascension where the mobs were buffed, it was quite an issue. So, going to keep just pumping in. Again, my focus here is try to put the least amount into the Earth Borer, put the most into the mobs that are immune, so the Molten Elementals, keep pumping Molten Blast into them, and you can see I am able to hold a decent amount of threat here. So, going into the next area, I think if we'd have run this maybe 1 or 2 more times, we probably could have refined the run a lot more. But it really was one of those things that 2 people in the group were a little bit higher than the rest. They were ready to go and start progressing into Wailing Caverns and things like that for the increased experience. And some people were like 14, where Ragefire Chasm's the only real option at that point. As you can see, I'm about to ding, and I think that might be 14. Oh, okay, so I've just hit 14, so that's me at 15% block now, doing 56-minute levels, which I think isn't bad. It's not great, but again, so see here, I'm going to use a lightning bolt on one to pull, flame shock on the other, pull them all around the corner, group them up, and then I'll be able to start hitting them. One thing I did notice here is because the enforcers actually knock you down, I was having a lot of threat issues just because, well, actually I wasn't able to hit them very much. Drop my Fire Nova Totem just for a bit of damage. Stone Skin's down as well. Trying to hit them Molten Blasts, but I've already lost threat on 2 or 3 mobs, so I just drop the Earthbind. Let's kite it out if I have to. If you're going to have threat, I don't mind. But let's at least make sure that we're doing everything I can to keep you alive. So, Fire Nova coming down again. Burnt a little bit of mana here, just trying to get through this pack. It was quite a nasty pack, and our mage, who's a huge source of our damage, is now currently completely oom. I've managed to get most of the aggro back onto myself, so it's me that's going to be taking that damage, as well as getting those shield mastery procs, as you can see. Yeah, but it's you have a lot of utility as a shaman, and I think that's going to be quite a big key factor, I suppose. But yeah, so go through, we're going to be killing the 1 or 2 more packs and then going into the boss. And bosses, I didn't really concentrate on at all, to be honest. I didn't have any threat issues. Like Earth Shock and Flame Shock in itself were enough to keep threat. It was very, very easy to keep threat overall. Now, one thing that you do have to be very, very careful of as Shaman, and you've just seen me renew my Rock Biter, is Rock Biter is only a 5-minute duration. If that runs out, so does your threat, effectively. If you consider like the Righteous Fury thing for Pallies, where you turn it on and you get all these buffs, well, that's kind of how Enhancement Shaman's going to work. If that ever gets turned off, then you don't get the benefits. So losing Rock Biter is going to be quite a scary thing if it does happen to happen. Now, Way of Earth gives you like 10% or 30% increased health, 10% reduced damage, 6% chance to, reduced chance to be crit. A very, very, very key and important rune to get. But as soon as I got it, I was like, I'm ready to tank. I think I can tank and be good. And bearing in mind that I'm a couple of levels down at this point, like 2 levels down on Crix, I think to start off with, I was 1 level down on the Mage and the Rogue. It was one of those things that, actually, if I could tank this, I'm pretty confident I can get the rest as well. So, about to hit Targaman, and I'm going to stop the video after that. Again, the rest of the thing is all very samey. It's not a very difficult run. I think the players in the group are quite exceptional, and we ran through it and basically just smashed everything. Like, did some 10-pack or 2-pack pulls, which was 10 mobs. And yeah, so you can see here, the Living Flame and all the damage has come out, but still able to hold threat. In fact, I'm almost double the threat of some of the other players in the group, and they aren't exactly holding back either. The Subterranean Cape, which I don't take because I got the other one. And yeah, so I'm going to leave this video here. You get a bit of an insight as to what Shaman tank looks like in Ragefire Chasms. Any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'm going to go to bed because I am very, very, very tired. And yeah, you'll probably be watching this before I'm awake, which is strange. So thank you for watching, guys. Love you as always. I've been trying to stream today. I managed to stream for 8 hours last night. Some of you come and checked it out. So do come and check twitch.tv/IamMijae just in case I am streaming. I will try to be streaming as much as possible. Aside from that, I'm going to be doing loads more content with the Swamp guys. Swamp. That's a weird word. Swamp guys. And of course, I've not left the EU guys. I will be going and playing with Y-Pink once I can get a couple of characters done. Obviously, we'll be trying to spread ourselves across different areas. So, thank you for watching. More videos coming soon, and catch you later. Bye.